With your 1410 WRMN Newsflash, I'm Sean Kernan. Brought to you by Wendy's. Several arrests announced by the Naperville Police Department over the holiday weekend last week. Incidents ranging from driving under the influence and speeding to retail theft and battery. Notable cases include a 30-year-old Naperville woman facing multiple charges and a Milwaukee duo arrested for organized retail crime. Naperville City Council has unanimously approved a revamped pay structure for non-union employees. Following a consultant's review comparing local salaries to those of similar communities, the study revealed that Naperville's pay scale lagged behind the market average. Heads up, Elgin drivers, the intersection of South Spring Street and DuPage Street is getting a new three-way stop starting this week. Previously, only westbound DuPage traffic stopped, but now all directions will have stop signs. Crews are updating the signs and pavement markings this week. With your 1410 WRMN Newsflash, I'm Sean Kernan.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or in third-party delivery platforms.
Ooma.
What was that?
That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to handle the busy holiday season, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Progressive presents the Sports Flash on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN. Jonathan Cannon starts for the White Sox tonight at home against the Tigers. Jack Flaherty gets the nod. The Sox fell 3-2 at Baltimore on Sunday. 7-3 win for the Cubs at Wrigley Sunday over the Reds. Jamison Tyone improves to 5-3. He struck out 2, gave up a pair of runs, 3 hits in 6 2/3, only 1 walk issued. The Cubs struck in the 3rd inning. Pete Crow-Armstrong hit an RBI single. Dansby Swanson had an RBI double, and Michael Busch ripped a 2-run homer. Busch also singled home a run in the 5th, helping the Cubs win their 2nd straight and regain a 4-game advantage over St. Louis atop the National League Central standings. Tuesday, they start a series against the Nationals on the road. 2-0 Cade Horton scheduled to start. Bundle auto and home, renters, or condo and save with Progressive. I'm Chuck Sanders on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now, there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
Participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co., LLC. Used with permission.
When you partner with CDW, your people get more out of technology. CDW AI architects deliver Microsoft services to automate tasks and boost productivity, helping sales reps connect with more customers. Remote teams collaborate seamlessly, and small businesses compete at scale. That's amazing. Make amazing happen. Microsoft and CDW. Learn more at cdw.com/modernwork.
This is Sarah Silver with your Fox Valley forecast. Today, mostly cloudy with a high near 85 and a slight chance of rain showers between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m., then a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms. Tonight, cloudy with a low around 63, temperatures rising to around 66 overnight. Showers and thunderstorms likely. Currently, it is 72 and overcast. I'm Sarah Silver on the Talk of the Town, WRMN.
Now there's a new way to take charge of your blood sugar. Introducing new Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula from the makers of the nation's best-selling garlic supplement. New Garlic helps maintain healthy blood sugar levels with clinically supported levels of garlic, plus a custom blend of vitamins and minerals. And it's odor-free. Take charge of your blood sugar with New Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Are you looking for a dentist near you? Choose the one with the 5-star Google rating, Bender Dental Care in Elgin. We earned that 5-star rating with our super friendly staff, reasonable rates, and outstanding patient care. Dr. Bender provides full-service family dentistry, including tooth-colored fillings and crowns, and no drill, no shot treatment for small cavities, perfect for kids. Choose Google's 5-star dentist close to home, Bender Dental Care in Elgin. We're here for you. Haven't been to the dentist in a while? Bender Dental Care in Elgin has a new patient welcome offer. Complete exam, regular cleaning, consultation, and x-rays for only $29. Okay, that bears repeating. A complete exam, regular cleaning, consultation, and x-rays for only $29. Bender Dental Care has a verified 5-star Google rating. It doesn't get any better than that. Family dentistry at its best. Bender Dental Care in Elgin.
Welcome, everybody, to the Community Hour here on WRMN AM 1410. I am the host, Matt McNeil, running the board here. We've got Medicare made ABCDEasy here to help you out with your questions and also maybe give you some very well put together answers to help you when it comes to Medicare related things that are out there. So thanks so much for joining us today, and we'll get started.
Good morning. My name's Danny Gilly, and I'm with the radio station today talking about Medicare. And the phone number that if you have any questions, as I'm going through some information for you, feel free to call our information line at 847-931-1410.
That's correct.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, if you want to get a hold of me after the show's over, you can always dial me at our reservation line at 630-320-6906. And then if you ever want to know when the upcoming workshops are in our area, you can go to ddginsurance.com, and that'll give you all the updated workshops. Presently, we do not have any on the schedule because usually June is one of our vacation times that we take between Julie and Eric and myself. But we will be back with other workshops right after that. Basically, today what I wanted to talk about is, what is Medicare? Everybody goes, well, I've got to sign up for Medicare, but a lot of people don't even know what Medicare is. Medicare basically is an insurance program provided by the state and the federal government. It works very similar to your group coverage that you have through your employer. The only difference is this is ran by the federal government. Now, the insurance that you get when we call Medicare is broken down into two different types. One would be the Medicare supplement. That program is basically where you stay on original Medicare, your original red, white, and blue, and then you can get a Medicare supplement to fill in the holes that Medicare does not cover. There's a premium associated with that. One of the nice things with that particular plan, you can go anywhere in the United States, and so long as the doctor takes Medicare, you're good to go. And you don't even have to tell them what supplement you're on because Medicare and the supplement you choose are tied together. So basically, when you choose a Medicare supplement, there aren't any networks, there's no HMO, there's no PPO. It's basically Medicare. And all hospitals, because they're federal hospitals, have to take Medicare. Now, some of the doctors don't accept Medicare, but really we're looking at about 95 to 98% that do. And so anyway, when you start looking at a Medicare supplement, one of the reasons why people may choose that is because they like the freedom of choice. Give you an example. If you live in this area and you want to go to Northwestern or Loyola or any of the major hospitals with that Medicare supplement, you don't have to ask. You're already a part of that program. And again, say you move out of the area and you move to Florida or Tennessee, that supplement moves right along with you. So you never have to worry about searching for another company or another program because that plan is nationwide. That also does have some foreign travel on it for emergency use only. But basically, anywhere in the United States, you may use that Medicare supplement along with your red, white, and blue. So what happens is you have your Medicare. In order to get a supplement, you have to have Part A and Part B. So this is where a lot of people make mistakes. I can tell you I had a client last week that came in and she basically said, well, I want to turn on my Medicare. And she gives me her Medicare card. And I said, well, you already have it, Part A and Part B. And she was working and she had group coverage. And so I explained to her that when she turned on Part B, she should have dropped the group coverage because it's identical coverage. So she spent all this money for a number of years paying her group fee along with her Medicare Part B fee. So it was wasted money. And trust me, you don't get it back. Once you enroll, then you are enrolled. So that's one of the things that I tell people when you are going to go into Medicare, you want to make sure you understand exactly how the system works. Okay, so let's say you're turning 65 today, okay, and you decided that you want to enroll into Medicare. Now, this makes no difference when I say enroll into Medicare. It can be the supplement or the Advantage plan. Under both of those, you do have to have your Part A and Part B. Now, the big question is, do you plan on continuing to work? Because sometimes when you plan on working, you have that group coverage from your employer. You need to do a side-by-side comparison. What do I mean? Well, I have you bring in your evidence of coverage from your employer, and then we compare it to what type of plan they have. And most of the employee plans now are nothing. They're pretty much just glorified Advantage plans is what they are. So what we do is I can look on what is available on the open market, and you can compare prices to see which one works better for you. And not always is Medicare going to be your best option. But the only way that you can really understand whether or not that is going to be your best option is to do that complete side-by-side. And when you come in and you bring your evidence of coverage through your current employer, we will sit down and put everything in black and white. Okay, this is your program. This is your deductible. This is the cost of any co-pays that you have, and then we compare that with what's available on the open market. Then we separate it and say, okay, we also need to look at the supplement versus the Advantage plan. And in that part is really where you have to decide which is best for you. Now, the thing that I always do is I'm only here to educate you. When you come in and sit down in my chair and you say, okay, a lot of times I'll ask the client, which one had you look at, the Advantage plan or the supplement? A lot of them say, really, I'm just really totally confused. And I said, most people are. So what I do is I separate it out. I go, this is the Advantage plan. Here's the plus on the Advantage plan. And then here's the disadvantage of the Advantage plan. Then I go to the supplement and say, this is the advantage to the supplement, but this is the disadvantage to it. Then you and I have to decide what is best for you. One of the most questions that people ask me, well, what's the difference between one company and the next on the supplement side? And if I choose Plan G, which is the most comprehensive plan that they have now, what's the difference between if I buy that at maybe Blue Cross Blue Shield or Aetna or Mutual of Omaha, Humana? What's the difference in those? Are they all the same? I tell everybody that Medicare supplement is just like a can of Coke, okay? So if you want a can of Coke, you go to the grocery store. You can go to Mariano's, you can go to Costco, Walmart, wherever to pick up that can of Coke. And that can of Coke is not being manufactured in the back of the store. That can of Coke is being delivered by the Coca-Cola company to the stores to sell. Well, it works the same way. In the supplement, that plan is provided to the insurance companies from Medicare. And just like the grocery stores, some of the prices are different. The can of Coke costs a different price at one grocery store than it has at a different grocery store. Well, it's the same way with the supplement. That Plan G may have a different price compared to where you purchase it. But I want you to understand, there is no difference in the coverage. It's a can of Coke. Okay, and Medicare makes that supplement Plan G or Plan N. So they make that plan and give it to the insurance to sell. So I know that I've heard this before when I've had clients come in and go, well, my broker told me that such company is the best company out there in the supplement world. Well, what they're saying to you is the can of Coke that you get at Jewel is better than the can of Coke that you get at Mariano's. It doesn't make sense. So keep in mind, it's basically now we're talking pricing. And keep in mind, I'm referring to during your open initial enrollment into Medicare. Because when you have that initial enrollment into Medicare, you can choose any plan that you want through any company that you want, be it an Advantage plan, be it a supplement, and there are no health questions asked. So now's the time, and this is what I tell my clients, okay, this is the time that you really don't want to make a mistake. This is the time that you really have to understand both plans, the Advantage plan, the group plan, and then, of course, the supplement staying on Medicare. You really have to understand how all three of these plans work in order for you to make that decision. Now, some people will say, well, I think I'll stay on my group coverage. Well, now what do I do? Well, let's say we did that side-by-side comparison. I said to you, if I were you, I'd stay on that group plan. It's a pretty good plan out there. It's one of the best ones that I've seen. And there are a few of them out there that are good. So I say to you, you don't need to do anything. So long as you have credible coverage, which basically means your coverage that you have covers you in the hospital, the doctor, and the prescription drugs. If your group, which they do, and you would probably get a letter each month or each year stating that this program has been approved by Medicare that makes it as acceptable to Medicare, which means there'll not be a penalty or anything because you had that group coverage and it was acceptable to Medicare. So in your particular case, the next question I'll say to you, do you have, as I'm going through your workshop with your group company, do you have an HSA? And if they say, yes, I have an HSA, well, then you cannot enroll into Part A at that time at all. You cannot have any part of Medicare, because if you do, you're more than likely going to get a penalty from the IRS, because you cannot have an HSA and have any part of Medicare. And there's mistakes made on that a lot. I've seen this with some of the clients, and they go, oh, my God. Well, I said, you may get a penalty from IRS, but, that's, entirely up to them. And so just be careful. If you have an HSA, do not take your Part A out if you're planning on still staying with your group coverage. I know I had a client that came in, and not only did she have Part A, but she had Part B. And of course, I told you, she spent all that money for nothing during that 2 years that she had that in Medicare both. And so, unfortunately, when you go to Social Security to turn on your Medicare, because that's where you have to go, they just ask you, and then they do what you tell them that you want. They're not there to educate you. So unfortunately, you need to know what to ask them or what to tell them to make sure that you're getting exactly what you need. And that's the reason that you want to sit down with Julianne, Erica, or myself when you're deciding to do something in the Medicare world. It's because this is, in our office alone, we have over 35 years experience in Medicare. So when you're talking a person that has the educational background on Medicare and how it works, then why not use us? Because we don't charge you for our services at all. There is no fee. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, how do we get paid, right? Well, believe it or not, the insurance companies pay us to assist you. So that's how we get reimbursed. So that's the reason why, if you don't pay any different price, the cost is the same, whether you sign up into that supplement or that Advantage plan or the prescription drug plan, whether you do it through an 800 number, you go online, or you do it by paper. Believe it or not, it's the same price, even if we do all the work for you. So if you have a professional that's going to hand carry you through that whole process so that you don't make any mistakes, it sounds like it would be to your best option to work with a professional that actually does this full time. So with that, the next segment that I'm going to kind of talk about a little bit is we've looked at the Medicare Part A. Now we're going to look at Part B. So if you decide you're going to turn your Medicare on, you're going to need Part B. And what is Part B? Well, Part A, as you know, is just the hospital coverage. And there is not a premium for Part A because you have earned that with having over 30 quarters that you paid into. I will tell you, though, there's a lot of holes in Part A that you want to make sure you get covered. And so that on your Medicare Part A and Part B, you can turn on your Part B. And the Part B is anything to do with the doctor. Could be in hospital. It could be in the doctor's office. It could be doing diagnostic work, anything like that. Basically, it's an 80-20 deal. You pay $257 annual deductible. Then after that, you'd pay 20%. So you ask me, well, Danny, how, I like the fact of that Medicare having that ability to go in with to anybody. How do I cover some of those expenses out of pocket? Well, that's where the supplement comes in. So the supplement will pick up all of the co-pays and the Part A cost, Part B cost, the 20%, anything. So if you have Medicare and the Plan G, the only thing that you will have out of pocket is $257 annual deductible plus the cost of your premium. And then it covers 100%. It could be $1 million claim. And you basically would pay the $257 and everything else would be covered. So people that have health issues, you would be the biggest client to look at the Medicare supplement, because you have that coverage that you can go to any hospital, any doctor, and especially in the Chicago market, you've got a lot of different specialties. Northwestern, you got Loyola, you got Alexa Brothers. So you got all these different hospitals that specialize in different things. So obviously, if I had an issue with the heart, I'd want to go to Loyola. If I had an issue with cancer or anything else like that, anything internal, I'd want to go to Northwestern. So with that advantage, or with this Medicare supplement, you may utilize all of the doctors. And basically, you don't have to worry about getting too many referrals, because with Medicare, it only has to be medically necessary. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why you want to really do a side-by-side comparison. Look at what your costs have been with your group. What's your co-pays? How many co-pays have you paid? How many times have you had to visit each one of those doctors? And a lot of things like that you want to really look at. And then you would decide which one you wanted to go into. Now, on the reverse side, say you're perfectly healthy, and you probably are only taking a couple generics, and you want to get the doctor group that insurance company, whichever one, the doctor group that you want to go to, will look to make sure that that particular plan is in that insurance group. Well, that's really kind of simple to do. You just give me a list of the doctors that you have now, and I will pull up to see what doctors and what network you need to belong to. And then on most of the Medicare Advantage plans in this area are at zero premium. So you do have to have your Part B, but it's a zero premium. Now, I don't want you to misunderstand me. It doesn't mean it's free. It's just that the coverage is zero, because it's all broken down in the Advantage side. You pay as you go. So, give you an example. In this area, most of the PPOs and the HMOs have a zero premium, and your PCP doctor is at zero. But if you go to a specialist in either one of those plans, there can be a higher charge, like $40 or so. If you need an MRI, of course, that's more that you have to spend. If you have cancer and you need to have radiation and chemotherapy, all of those are billed up at 20%. So even though you say you ended up having something like that, and once you hit the maximum out of pocket for that year in that Advantage plan, then there is no additional charges. So you'll know at least, the $35,000 or $4,000, whatever the maximum out of pocket for that plan is, that's all you would ever have to pay. But it just kind of breaks down that if you're healthy and you want to save some money, zero premium, going to your PCP doctor is zero. And you also get, once a year, you get your Medicare physical, and that's at no charge to you. So the only time you'd have any charges that co-pays would be if you need some diagnostic testing, blood pressure, or blood tests or anything like that. So it really, you want to break it down to what your need is and find out especially what would be best for you. Now, if you're traveling outside of the Illinois, Chicagoland area, and you say you go to, for some reason you don't like the winters here, and you're going to Tennessee or you're going to Florida, And you go, well, what plan would work best for me? Well, remember, I told you that Medicare supplement's good anywhere in the United States.
All right, we're going to go to break, and we'll be back with more in just a bit.
With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Kernan. Brought to you by Wendy's. Drivers in downtown St. Charles should prepare for lane closures and shifting traffic patterns on Main Street and Illinois Street as construction gets underway. The city is installing a new crosswalk at the north entrance to the First Street Plaza and updating the current traffic signal to reduce pedestrian wait times. Hanover Township launching a free summer concert series with a high-energy Santana tribute by the Fuse Band. They'll perform from 7 to 8:30 p.m. on Thursday, June 12th at the Isaac Walton Reserve in Elgin. A man sought in connection with last week's fatal stabbing of two sisters in Streamwood is now in custody. Police say 25-year-old Jeloni Jenkins was arrested without incident on Sunday night in Downers Grove. Jenkins was identified as the stepbrother of the victims, 21-year-old Janiyah Jenkins and 10-year-old Iyani Jenkins. With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Kernan.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your boat, boat wins.
What are you going to do? Take the boat out for a spin or go mail something? Boat wins! Are we cleaning the patio or taking the boat out fishing? Boat wins! Are we skipping that eye exam to go sailing? Boat wins!
Rescheduling eye exams can be a nightmare.
All right, fine. Eye exam, then boat.
Yeah!
With Progressive, you can bundle your boat with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings on your boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
When you partner with CDW, your people get more out of technology. CDW AI architects deliver Microsoft services to automate tasks and boost productivity, helping sales reps connect with more customers. Remote teams collaborate seamlessly, and small businesses compete at scale. That's amazing. Make amazing happen. Microsoft and CDW. Learn more at cdw.com/modernwork.
At Britain's Touchless Car Wash, they know life gets busy. That's why they're here 24/7 to keep your car looking spotless, fast, and easy. Their advanced brush-free wash technology delivers a sparkling clean without a single scratch, because they treat your car like it's their own. Here's the best part. Right now, you can get a free car wash just for joining their text club. It's simple. Just text BRITT to 30400, and your first wash is on them. Britain's Touchless Car Wash has two convenient locations, 1923 Larkin Avenue in Elgin and 555 Willow in West Dundee. They're proud to keep your car clean while giving back to our community. Text BRITT to 30400. That's BRITT to 30400. Now for your free car wash, and see why Britain's Touchless Car Wash is the fast, gentle, and reliable choice.
This is Sarah Silver with your Fox Valley forecast. Today, mostly cloudy with a high near 85, temperatures falling to around 78 in the afternoon, windy with gusts up to 40 miles per hour. Tonight, cloudy with a low around 63, temperatures rising to around 66 overnight, showers and thunderstorms likely. Currently, it is 76 and overcast. I'm Sarah Silver on the Talk of the Town, WRMN.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or on third-party delivery platforms.
Let's welcome back to Medicare Made ABCDEasy. My name is Danny Gilly, and I'm here to talk to you about Medicare. Now, if you have any question that you want to give me a call here at the radio station, it's 847-831-1410. And, of course, at our reservation line, it's 630-320-6906. And then, of course, you can always go to our website. It's ddginsurance.com. And that gives you all the information of how to get a hold of either Dan, myself, Danny, Julianne, or Eric. And it also tells you all the workshops that are coming. And we don't have any scheduled yet for this month, but we will have some later in August or in July. Now, to get back to what I was talking about between the Advantage plan and the supplement, of course, there's co-pays in the Medicare Advantage plans. And so with them being co-pays, that plan is not zero, but it does cover the max up to the maximum out of pocket. Now, let me kind of go over what some of the co-pays that you would have to pay on Part A. And this is the hospital portion. And remember the one that there is no charge to? If you go to the hospital, and it's broken down into 60-day increments. Okay, so day 1 to day 60 would be $1,676. That would be your charge. If you stayed 61 days to 90, it switches to a $419 per day. If you stay 91 through 150, it goes to $838. But with the supplement, all those actually are paid for. Now, again, what I'm saying is a 60-day window. So let's say in January, you went to the hospital January 1. April, you went back into the hospital. That's outside of that 60-day window. So that means those copays start all over again. The 1676 for 60 days, 61 through 90 for 419, and 91 through 150. So that's where the major hole is. Another what portion of it is in the skilled nursing. Now, the skilled nursing care is rehab. Medicare does not take care of long-term care. It is strictly rehab. So days 0 to 20 is paid for by Medicare. Days 21 through 100, it's $209.50 per day. Anything over 101 days and beyond, there is not any coverage. So if you want to break this down, that's why you would look at an Advantage plan, because they have things separate out for you so that you don't have those large co-pays all at once. For instance, in the hospital, maybe you pay $300 a day for the first 9 days, and then that's it. So there is a good reason to select either an Advantage plan or a supplement. If you take the supplement, the only Medicare supplement would take care of all of those co-pays. The $1,676 per day 1 through 60 to $419, 61 through 90, 91 through 150. That would be all picked up by your supplement, and also the 21 to 100 days of nursing care. That also would be picked up by your supplement. So there's good reasons why you don't want to just have Medicare Part A and Part B. You really want to take care of some of those expenses. And that's the reason why your choices are go with the supplement, and then the supplements will cover all of those extra costs that would come with your Medicare, other than your annual, your monthly premium, and then your annual deductible. So that's the big difference between the two, is just understanding that there's the pay schedule is totally different. So that's why I say, if you're a person that has some health issues, that Medicare supplement is probably going to be your best option. If you travel outside of the Chicagoland area, then that supplement is going to be your best option. If you're in good health and you want to go ahead and select that supplement or Advantage plan, by all means, I have a lot of clients on those Advantage plans, and they love those Advantage plans. So you have to just remember then the Advantage plans, if I had a choice and for you, I would recommend a PPO over an HMO only because the network of doctors are much larger. And if you go outside a network, there is an option to go outside of network, just the co-pays are higher. And on the HMO, you cannot go outside of the network, and you have the same co-pays, just like you will in the PPO. So those are the two of the kind of differences that you have. Now, we got to talk about drug plan, the prescription drug plans. If there's one part of Medicare that is the hardest to control, would be the prescription drug plans. You have two choices. If you have a supplement, you're going to want a standalone prescription drug plan. And in order to have Part D, anyone who is enrolled in Medicare Part A and or Part B permanently resides in the service area. What that basically means, certain drug plans are available in this zip code. So you can't enroll into a plan in Florida because it's outside of the zip code areas, okay? So you have to enroll into one in the zip code in which you reside. And there are some people that qualify for both Medicare and Medicaid, which is dual eligible, and they can a lot of times get their medication with assistance through the Medicare and Medicaid. So that is kind of the advantage if you have to have a lot of medications, then having that dual eligible. And there's programs available in the Advantage side that's dual eligible, along with in the Medicare supplement side. So that's kind of where the difference is. Now, on the Medicare prescription drug plan, it's good nationwide. So whatever plan you have, been on an Advantage side or the drug plan, the freestanding drug plan, because you have a supplement, you can go anywhere in the United States and get your medication. It's just where you enroll, you have to be in that zip code. But you have nationwide coverage, which makes it really kind of nice. Now, one of the things that happened this year, this signed into law August 16th of 2022. And basically, it went into effect this year, January 1. Caps out-of-pocket Medicare Part D costs at $2,000. Okay, so what they're saying depends on what medications that you're on, but if you have some of those heavy-duty medications and you have ran up $2,000 in copays, then you would not have to pay anything in addition to that. Then the rest of your medications would be relatively free. So that was added this year. And because anytime there's an added service like this, then there's winners and there's losers. Last year, when they had some of the Tier 1 and Tier 2 medications, they were at $0. Well, this year they're at $5 and $10. So people, they have to, the money has to come from somewhere. So there's always winners and losers, but the winners this year is going to be if you had a lot of medication. And I did have a few clients that this did help, and they did really need it because it was kind of tough for them to pay their prescription drugs. And hopefully they will make additional compensation for prescription drugs in the future. I know that they're talking about leveling the cost of the medications worldwide. And let's see if that happens. If it does, it would be to our benefit too. Okay, so on the Medicare Advantage side, then you basically would have the drug plan associated with that plan that you enrolled into. And so on the drug plan, basically it's wrapped into your Medicare Advantage. So some of those at Medicare Advantage plans, they have some different perks. They'll have some dental, maybe some a gym membership. The prescription drug is included in there, not the medication, but the plan cost itself. So when you start looking at these different plans, you want to look at what the cost is, what the coverage is, and obviously you want to look into what is available for you in as far as your doctor networks. And that's the biggest issue with the Advantage side. Now, on the election period, you've got to understand how the election periods work in Medicare. Now, initial enrollment into Medicare, this is when you turn 65 or you left employment and you had group insurance all this time and you decided to retire and you're 80. You still, at that age, can get your initial enrollment into Medicare where there is no health questions asked. You can go into any plan that you want, and it's a carte blanche. It's your decision to go. Since you're going into Medicare, you turn on your Part B for the first time, no questions asked. It's entirely up to you what you decide to use. And that comparison between the two, okay? Now, let's say that you are working and your employer offers you a retiree plan, which I don't see that very often anymore. Usually once you are no longer working, then you go on to Medicare, and most of the retirees do not have a plan, but some of them do. And I always tell you, think about this. They didn't care that much about you when you were working. When you're retired, they're probably going to care less about you. So that side-by-side comparison is so important for you retirees that are going to be going into either an Advantage plan or a supplement. Because here's the thing. If you stay with their group plan, now you are using up your one and only time that you have no questions asked as far as your selection into any company without any health questions asked. You are using it up now. And so what have we noticed with these retiree plans is they make a lot of changes. And they're basically glorified Advantage plans. A lot of people get sucked into that, not realizing exactly what coverage they are taking. Now, some people, it's perfect for them. But other people that have some major health issues, they really should not be in that group plan. So doing that side by side, if you're a retiree, do that side by side to bring in that evidence of coverage. Let us go through it with a fine-tooth comb. Let us find out exactly what they're covering, because they don't have to match anything in this federal government guidelines. It basically is what they set up as far as their retiree plans. So we want to make sure that whatever plan they have in there, of course, they will have to cover doctor, hospital, and medication. But I still want you to know that it's you really want to do a side-by-side comparison then to find out if it really is worth that. Because some of them have a monthly premium, which you could have got on the open market at zero premium. So you really want to look at that to see if it's really your best option. And by doing that side-by-side comparison is one of the ways that we like to make sure that there's no mistakes made. So now let's look at what happens after you turn 65 and you retire, or you turn on your Medicare, and then during the year you have a change in your medication. Well, every year during the annual enrollment period, we get to make changes. And the Medicare supplement side, as far as the prescription drug, and in the MAPD or the Advantage plan. Now, again, don't misunderstand that the supplement can be changed in every open enrollment. That's not true. The Medicare supplement stays the same with you. The only time you can change that is if you want to switch from one program to another. But you can do that anytime during the year. You don't have to wait to the annual insurance election period. So the prescription drug is when we usually have the most problems, where the client says, okay, oh my God, I've got this and this and this was changed. Okay, that's not a problem. This is open enrollment. We'll run those medications through all the companies out there, and we'll decide which one is the best one for you. And then we'll enroll you in that will go into effect January 1 with a cutoff date of December 7th. So that's not a problem. We do that all the time, and we basically do all that work for you, so you don't have to worry about it. All we do is say, please email us after October 15th with your updated medication list, and let us work on it for you and let you know which one you need to go into. Now, if you're on an Advantage plan, again, we need to know what doctors that you are on, and to check to see if there's any changes in those MAPDs. This year, we had a lot of changes in the MAPDs. They had reduced some of the coverage that they had. They dropped some doctor groups. So we were really scrambling, this year during the annual enrollment period. There was a couple of companies, we didn't even know if the insurance group was going to even be enrolling people. But we did end up going through everything, and it worked okay at the end. But it was kind of taxing there, not knowing what to tell the client because we didn't know what was coming. But that basically is because of that Inflation Reduction Act, and it really created an issue because the insurance companies had to cover more with less coming in. So that's why they had to sharpen their pencil with their Advantage plans, maybe reducing some of the coverage in the dental, the eye care, stuff like that. But luckily, we did get everybody back in this year, and we're back to running everything the way it was last year, except there was some minor changes. And that was about all that we had. Now, coming up this next year, October 15th, then all of the new programs that will be available for 2026 will be out. Matter of fact, in July, I usually do all of my certifications for 2026 because every year we got to be tested. We have to pass a test in order to sell any Medicare products. Then each company, we have to pass a test in order to sell for that company. So that's why we get our education every year. And it takes me a couple weeks to get through all of my certifications. But like I said, I've been doing this long enough that it's pretty easy for me to get through them. And with that, I think we have, 2 minutes left?
We've got about 5 minutes left.
5 minutes. Okay, yes. Great. Okay. Because there's one other thing I wanted to cover. Okay, when you start looking at your Advantage plan, let me pull that up here. Okay, on the Advantage plans, always remember that on the Medicare supplement, you can go to any doctor, any hospital. On the network and the Advantage plan, that would be an HMO, a PPO, or PFFS. Okay, the doctors in the hospitals have to be in network. Sometimes if you're very lucky and the plan that you're on, the doctors that you're with and the hospital can be the same. Sometimes you have to make that decision. Okay, maybe my cardiologist is in the plan, but my PCP doctor is not. You may have to decide which doctor you want to drop in order to select that plan. And then remember that copay is a shared expense plan. In other words, I told you that there was special charges, like for the hospital, there's a charge. Going to your PCP doctor usually is no charge. A specialist, if you go to a specialist, there's charges. All the diagnostic testing, there are charges. MRIs, especially if you a PET scan and those are different. They're more higher charges. There is no deductible in the Advantage plans, but remember it's out of pocket, and you share expense, so you pay your expense on the plan because there's not a monthly premium. So I just want to make sure that you understand that that's the big difference between the Medicare supplement, where you pay a monthly premium and an annual deductible, and everything is covered. It doesn't matter where you go, covers any doctor, any hospital in the United States. Medicare Advantage plan, you're limited to networks. Okay, you have copay share expenses. So those are expenses going to be in when you go to the doctor, you run diagnostic testing. It can be, if say you get diagnosed with cancer, well, there's a charge for the chemotherapy and a charge for the radiation. They can get costly. But that particular plan has a maximum out of pocket. So long as you go to the network doctors and the network hospitals, that maximum out of pocket is lower. If you go outside of network, then those network copays, they double. So you have to make sure that what hospital and doctors that you're going to, that you utilize those, because if you want to go outside of the network, just understand that those copays are going to be higher and the maximum out of pocket is going to be higher. One of the reasons people like to choose those Advantage plans is lower to monthly premium or zero. It's a shared expense plan. Doctors and hospitals are on networks. Prescription benefit is covered in those plans. And the simplicity of use. You'd use that one card for everything. Now, again, on the supplement side, most popular reason for that plan is a freedom of choice. Use any doctor, any hospital in the United States. There are no copays. There are no referrals required. Medicare simply says if it's medically necessary, it will be covered. In the Advantage side, you need to get prior approval on anything that you have done. So they automatically will contact Medicare and say, okay, the insurance company, say we got a client that needs this, and this, they have to get it approved. If they come back and say, no, it's not approved, then you may have to go to the next higher level and request a change. So there are some options with the supplement, and there's also some options with the Advantage plan. So for you, it's basically what works best for you. There's no right or wrong. It's just what works for you. And our job is to make sure that we have the coverage that you need. Now, 630-320-6906 is our reservation line. ddginsurance.com is our website. And I want to thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call us.
Get ready for Around the House every Saturday night from 5 to 7 p.m. on WRMN AM 1410. If you're a homeowner or contractor looking to tackle those projects that feel a bit too big, this is the show for you. Join Eric along with his knowledgeable guests as they dive deep into everything from DIY renovations to creating a healthy home environment. We'll provide you with the tools and tips you need to complete your projects with confidence and ease. But it's not all work and no play. We believe in having fun. Our passion for home improvement shines through as we help you save time, money, and reduce the stress of DIY. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, don't miss Around the House. Tune in every Saturday night and let's tackle those home projects together.
Your hometown radio station since 1949. We are WRMN AM 1410, Elgin time, 10 o'clock.